Endowed Professorship at the University of Hong Kong are created to provide perpetual support to areas of academic excellence. It is also a privileged honor bestowed upon our academics. It is a particularly significant moment today as this university was born 100 years ago. As we celebrate our centenary, now more than ever, we are committed to the values of knowledge, heritage, and service. The Endowed Professorships represent our promise to contribute to mankind. With the inauguration today, we shall have a total of 54 endowed professorships established since the year 2005.
The humanities can enrich and illuminate people's lives. Literature, music, history, philosophy, law, politics, social sciences, architecture, and the arts are all important. The Sin Wai Kin Distinguished Visiting Professorship in the Humanities is designed to attract scholars of top distinction to spend a period of time at the university. These extended engagements will have a substantial impact on the intensity and quality of interactions between these world-class scholars and teachers and students at Hong Kong U. With a generous donation of $20 million from Dr. David Sin Wai Kin, a permanent endowment to support the appointments of distinguished visiting scholars in the humanities has been established. To show the university's full support and to augment the impact of this initiative, the $20 million donation will be matched by the university to form an endowment of $40 million. Dr. Sin hopes through the Sin Wai Kin Distinguished Visiting Professorship in the Humanities, the University of Hong Kong will continue to serve China and the world as a beacon of knowledge.
I invite Dr. Sin Wai Kin to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Roland Chin will represent the university to receive a certificate.
Severe gum disease is a major cause of tooth loss in adults worldwide. I have been researching this field for over 25 years. Recently, evidence shows that gum disease not only affects oral health, it will also affect the general health, such as heart disease or diabetic. So periodontal care will benefit not only oral health, it will also contribute to general well-being. My research group recently has identified a series of innate immunity molecules and their relation to gum health. I hope this finding may contribute to the development of new vaccines for prevention of gum disease.
Professor Jin has done research on the interactions between bacteria causing gum disease and the human immune system. And these discoveries are very important for prevention of gum disease in future generations.
I'm truly honored to receive the second endowed professorship for the Faculty of Dentistry. We are very grateful to the donor, the Modern Dental Laboratory, and the CEO and Director, Dr. Godfrey Ai, for making this a reality.
I invite Mr. Godfrey Ai, on behalf of Modern Dental Laboratory Company Limited, to receive a certificate of appreciation from Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Modern Dental Laboratory Professor in Clinical Dental Science, Jin Li Jian, My research is about economic development, and in particular, economic development of China. My major interest is to deal with the so-called China puzzle. On the one hand, China has enjoyed a very rapid economic growth for more than 30 years. On the other hand, if we look at the quality of institutions in China by international standard, then China looks pretty poor. Therefore, to understand what is going on is terribly important.
Professor Xu Zhenggang is one of the very few economists in the world whose research provides profound insight into the growth of the Chinese economy. Hong Kong U is very lucky to have him.
The future of China is a great interest for the global economy. So I believe my research is highly relevant for our understanding where China is going in the future. I would thank the donor very much for this generous support. That most of the endowment resources are going to be used for field work, for studying what happens in China, and also to help the young researchers. I invite Dr. Chong King-Kwok to receive a certificate of appreciation from Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Foreign Professor in Economic Development, Xu Zhenggang.
I'm interested in the mechanical properties of materials. Some metals, such as this one, is very soft, but others, such as this one, is a lot stronger and stiffer. I do both experimental work in trying to understand their morphology, how they behave under different stresses, as well as theoretical computation. At the end, we would like to have a full story of theoretical understanding with experiment support.
I've had many PhD students, and out of all of them, I've had 3 who I thought I was not good enough to supervise for PhD. Dr. Ahn was one of them.
Our work on dislocation mechanism, I think it is quite well known within the international community. So, for example, we were one of the first people to describe how dislocations move by a so-called king pair mechanism in body center cubic metals. I'm very grateful to Kingbot Company for this endowment. I will use the endowment to further my research. One area is trying to understand ultrasound softening of metals. So we hope to use this funding to carry out some more fundamental experiment as well as some theoretical modeling at the dislocation level.
I invite Mr. Zheng Guowei to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Kingbot Professor in Material Engineering, Alfonso Ngan.
My subject area of research is geometry and dealing with curvature. Now we're introducing a geometric theory where one considers, in some sense, a curvature and collection of lines. So we try to classify them, we try to study their general properties and resolve classical problems. And as a matter of fact, a number of classical problems have been solved using this method. So there's quite a bit of interaction between geometers and mathematical physicists. So one of our aims would be to develop a theory that is made use of in mathematical physics for parametrizing various models.
Professor Mok deserves this endowment because over the years he has solved some of the most difficult problems in complex and algebraic geometry. He also introduced many powerful techniques in order to solve these open problems.
So I'm really grateful to be the first to be appointed to the Edmund and Peggy Tse Professor in Mathematics. I'm really grateful for their generous support and the confidence in mathematics. Mathematics is elegant, rigorous, and applicable. And we try to put all of that into action in our activities in the context of the Institute of Mathematical Research using the Endowment Fund.
I invite Dr. Edmund C. Wing Chair to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Edmund and Peggy Chair Professor in Mathematics, Mok Ngai Ming.
The Faculty of Medicine has a productive and a very excellent record of pioneering work. We were the first to identify the SARS virus. We were the first team to achieve liver transplantation and organ transplantation. The success rate of those operations is the envy of many countries. So we lead the region and internationally in both basic and clinical research.
Hong Kong U Medicine is the most historic faculty in Hong Kong U, and it has always stood at the forefront of medical research in the world. As a student, I am very proud to be a member of this community, and I've also benefited a lot from the body of knowledge created by Hong Kong U Medicine.
I am most grateful to the Mann family, who has a long history of support to the University of Hong Kong. And this Dexter Mann Endowed Professorship for Medical Science is yet another example of their benevolent generosity. This endowment will be used to broaden our scope and to venture into new areas of breakthrough. There is never a more exciting and rewarding time to be in research.
I invite Mrs. Winnie Mann to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Dr. H.C. Mann, Family Professor in Medical Science, Lee Sum-Ting.
My research area is in condensed matter theory. I'm working on theory of superconductivity. If we can discover the room temperature superconductor, then we do not need the energy to transfer the electricity. That could save a lot of energy. And my theory provides a minimum model for further study of this phenomenon.
Professor Zhang is one of the leading theorists in the field of the high temperature superconductivity. His research would be very important for the humanity in future.
My interest in the basic science, but the basic science sometimes will turn out to be tomorrow's technology. I'd like to thank Mr. Zhong, my donor, for his generosity. I'd like to also thank Professor Zhou Guangzhao, who is one of our national leaders. He's also an outstanding physicist. I will use the funding wisely to promote the basic science in Hong Kong.
I invite Dr. Zhong Pingguo to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Zhou Guangzhao Professor in Natural Sciences, Zhang Fucheng.
My research is on plant biotechnology, and research in plant biotechnology directly impacts society because it can generate better crops to enhance agriculture and food productivity. My laboratory has employed techniques in molecular biology and plant biotechnology to study a family of acyl-CoA binding proteins which facilitates lipid transport in the model plant Arabidopsis.
She is at the forefront of the field. She discovered the multiple function of the acyl-CoA binding proteins, and her discovery have made a significant contribution to plant biotechnology and in pharmaceutical applications.
We hope to extend findings in basic research using Arabidopsis to crop plants, and perhaps we can generate crops that are tolerant to freezing, pathogens, or heavy metals. I'm greatly honoured and feel very privileged to receive the Wilson and Amelia Wong Professorship in Plant Biotechnology, which is also the first inaugural Endowed Professorship to the School of Biological Sciences. I am deeply grateful to Dr. and Mrs. Wong for their generosity in supporting my research.
I invite Dr. Wilson Wong and Mrs. Amelia Wong to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Wilson Amelia Wong Professor in Plant Biotechnology, Leland Chai.
My area of research and teaching is in political economy, and that is basically applying economic analysis to illuminate political behavior and political institutions. Now I'm designing new courses. First of all, it will be why governments regulate certain types of industries, provide certain types of services, and do they achieve their objectives. I'm also designing another course which will begin to analyze what are the structures of government that will facilitate the serving of public interest as opposed to special interests or entrenched interests. By teaching economic analysis, students begin to understand how they can better build a society that will fulfill the needs of public demand, and at the end, how economics and economic policy interact.
Professor Wong is a good teacher, and he is very willing to share his insights with students. He encouraged me to use the political economy perspective as the key to understand China's economic reform.
Well, I'm particularly grateful for this endowment because the income would allow us to develop knowledge exchange programs with the public to enlighten and enhance public education in policy debates, which is not always available through public funding.
I invite Dr. Philip Wong and Dr. Kennedy Wong to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Philip Wong, Kennedy Wong Professors in Political Economy, Richard Wong.
Statistics is a science about randomness. My recent discovery is the converse of the Bayes theorem. The Bayes theorem is the foundation of the Bayesian inference, which is very popular recently. The converse means that you can reverse the Bayesian process. That is, starting with posterior distribution, you find the prior distribution as an input to get your output. As an example of the converse of the Bayes theorem, suppose you know the condition probability of the symptoms given the disease and the condition probability of the disease given the symptoms, then you can estimate the prevalence of the disease in the community.
Professor Ng is already a leader in statistics, and his discovery of the converse of the Bayes theorem will be a legacy in the discipline's history.
I would like to thank Mr. Patrick Poon for his endorsement of the Department of Statistics achievement in teaching and learning, and for my own research. We will use the extra resources to keep our leading position in research and teaching and attract the best students into our programs.
I invite Mr. Patrick Poon San Chang to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Mr. Pro-Chancellor, I present Patrick S.C. Poon, Professor in Statistics and Actuarial Science in Taiwan.
In stem cell biology, the holy grail is to be able to remake and regenerate human cells, tissues, and organs that otherwise do not regenerate once they are damaged by diseases or by accidents. Our research interests are stem cell biology and regenerative medicine, and we're extremely interested in human pluripotent stem cells and human heart regeneration. And using pluripotent human stem cells, we've been able to construct a bio-artificial pacemaker that, in principle, functions as an alternative to replace electronic devices. And we are currently testing its long-term efficacy and safety.
Professor Lee has himself initiated a line research in stem cell. I'm sure together with his colleagues, he would advance our understanding in the stem cell research.
We're extremely grateful for the very generous gift that Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Lee have given to our program. On behalf of our unit, researchers, and the public who are going to benefit, I would like to take the opportunity to once again thank Andrew for his generosity, insights, and vision.
I invite Mr. Andrew Lee King Fun to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present S.Y. and H.Y. Cheng, Professor in Stem Cell Biology and Regenerative Medicine, Ronald Lee.
Currently, the prognosis of patients with liver cancer is still poor, despite surgical treatment and other drug treatments. My research aims to provide new drugs and also new technologies that can enhance the chance of cure for the patients and also can cure the patient in a less invasive way. Based on my work, a drug has been developed targeting a growth factor that is now approved for treatment of liver cancer patients. And with new technologies, especially the ablation technologies such as the high-intensity focused ultrasound and microwave ablation, this can eradicate the cancer in just a few minutes. And of course, this to the patient is a very important advance in that they can have the cure of the cancer without any major operation.
Professor Poon is one of the most talented and prolific scholars I have ever met. He is one of the very few surgeons in the world who is proficient in both basic science and clinical research in liver cancer.
And I would like to thank Mr. Xun Ji-san's family for their generous donation. The endowment will enable me to perform research on cancer stem cells and also to develop new technologies and drug treatment for liver cancer patients that will benefit many patients with liver cancer in Chinese population.
I invite Mrs. Xun Zhao-Yukang to receive a certificate of appreciation from Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Xun Ji-san Professor in Surgery, Ronnie Poon.
My main area of research is actually in chronic hepatitis B. Globally, around 400 million people are infected with chronic hepatitis B, of which around 3/4 are Chinese. Over the recent decade, the whole treatment of chronic hepatitis B has changed from immunomodulation into drug treatment, which is mainly spearheaded by our unit. Our research on the natural history of chronic hepatitis B has led to the changing endpoint of the treatment. These patients may require lifelong treatment. Overall, actually, the patients are definitely benefiting a lot from the newer form of treatment, which can actually reverse cirrhosis as well as decrease the incidence of liver cancer.
Professor Lai is a leader in terms of research in the field of hepatology, and he's also a fantastic and very enthusiastic and passionate teacher, a favourite amongst his peers and students.
I am deeply grateful to Dr. Simon Lee and his family, who has always helped and supported the University of Hong Kong. I would like to use my endowment fund to do further research on chronic hepatitis B infection, and hopefully this will benefit the majority of patients suffering from chronic hepatitis B.
I invite Mr. Philip Lee to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Simon K. Wiley Professor in Gastroenterology, Lai Qinglong.
Blood cancers are a very common disease in Hong Kong, and that also applies to most regions in China. I'm a hematologist and I deal with patients with blood cancers. So my main area of research is in blood cancers, into how I can apply the most important and up-to-date technology in the diagnosis and treatment of these patients. An accurate diagnosis based on molecular genetic alterations will be very important. We started about 10 years ago developing a molecular genetic diagnostic facility in our department. And I'm happy to say now that we are in a position in most blood cancer patients to make a molecular diagnosis of the disease.
Professor Kwong is certainly the right person for this endowment, and his research in molecular medicine had definitely led to various improvements in the diagnosis and management of our patients with blood cancers.
I'm happy and honored to receive donation from the Cui Fuk Chun Endowment. The endowment would expand our capabilities of making genetic diagnosis in the laboratory, and the information so obtained will be used in the treatment of our patients. And we hope that in this particular way we can improve the treatment outcome of our patients and ultimately benefit them in terms of survival and curability of their illness.
I invite Mr. Choi Wai-Guan to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Choi Fuk Chun, Professor in Molecular Medicine, Hong Yuk Lam.
I specialize in trust and equity, and trust to me is one of the most interesting and versatile inventions of the English lawyers. I think it is important in this part of the world, particularly in Hong Kong, given that it is a financial city. But not many people know about Chinese trusts because of the language barriers, because of how new it is. And so I find that in my research I was able to combine my expertise in common law trust and my expertise in Chinese trust and let other people know about how things are happening in China and offering meaningful, useful, but at the same time sympathetic critique of the law in China.
Lucina is the first lady endowed professor in the faculty. She's also the first one to bring the Western concept of trust and equity into China and help advising China on the development of the trust law and brings the Western concept of trust into the Chinese culture.
I would like to express my most heartfelt thanks to the donor for supporting research in the Faculty of Law. I hope in the longer run, not only people from China, but also legislators, reformers, academics in civil law jurisdictions who are interested in the trust will be able to benefit from the fruits of the research.
I invite Mrs. Christina Lee to receive a certificate of appreciation from the Pro-Chancellor. Pro-Chancellor, I present Harold Shaw Lee, Professor in Trust and Equity, Lucina Ho.